Happy New Year! Welcome to this virtual service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Waynesboro for Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. I am honored to be welcoming you here on this first Sunday of the new year, following what was a year of many challenges. While many of these challenges are still with us as we turn the page on our calendars, we welcome the news that vaccines for COVID-19 are beginning to be administered and are hopeful that sometime this year we will be able to gather again in person. Our services will continue to be virtual for the first half of 2021, and we do this out of concern for the health and well-being of our members and the larger community. My name is Kay Yost, and I am a member of this fellowship currently serving on the worship arts team. Today we have a guest minister who will be familiar to many of you. Reverend Paul Britner has been with us in person on many occasions, helping to lead our Sunday services in Fellowship Hall. Today I am happy to welcome him back in this virtual format. If you are a visitor here, I want to welcome you and thank you for spending time with us today. I want to invite you to come visit us whenever services resume in our physical space in Waynesboro. This congregation has covenanted with all Unitarian Universalist congregations to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person and reverence for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. We commit to growing the circle of inclusion and love ever wider, including in our we, people across the rainbow of sexual orientations and gender identities, people of all races and ethnicities, people of different social status, wealth, and poverty, people whose understandings of what good public policy looks like differ from each other. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you are on your life's journey, welcome. The flaming chalice is a symbol of our faith. In keeping with our UU tradition, I share these words before the lighting of the chalice. On the Brink of a New Year by Lois Van Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention.
Good day. It's wonderful to be back with you, if only by video. I hope you are doing well and that you are safe. This week has been a microcosm of the entire year, which of course was dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and to a renewed attention to social justice in our country. This week, as many as 20,000 people died from COVID. One of them was Luke Leto, a 41-year-old man with no pre-existing conditions who had just been elected to Congress. He would have taken the oath of office today. At the same time, we saw the rollout of the first vaccines. There were some hitches, of course, but let's not focus on that. The bigger point is there was a rollout of the vaccines. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There will be a time when this is past us, even if it's further down the road than we would like or certainly hope. On the social justice front, we saw just this week an angry woman in New York who, it turns out, left her cell phone in an Uber. But when she couldn't find it, she assumed that a 14-year-old black man stole it simply because he was in her vicinity. We saw increased accountability, though, for two of the police officers responsible for Breonna Taylor's death. So for our quiet time today, I would like us to reflect on the trauma that was 2020, but then to recall those times, often missed by the news channels, that brought out the best of us. Let's think about the first responders and others who are risking their lives for us. Let's think about all of those, and I bet this includes people watching this video, who have helped other more vulnerable neighbors by getting food or picking up items so that they could stay at home and not put themselves at risk. Let's think about all the people who stepped up and said reform of our criminal justice system is no longer an option. So let's think about the best of us that came out in 2020 and take a moment of quiet. Thank you.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a
More Than We Deserve by Robert R. Walsh. I heard the second Brandenburg Concerto played in honor of Bach's 300th birthday, and I was swept away. I remembered a story about the people who send messages into outer space. Someone suggested sending a piece by Bach. The reply was, "But that would be bragging." Some say we get what we deserve in life, but I don't believe it. We certainly don't deserve Bach. What have I done to deserve the second Brandenburg Concerto? I have not been kind enough. I have not done enough justice. I have not loved any neighbor or myself sufficiently. I have not praised God enough to have earned a gift like this. Life is a gift we have not earned and for which we cannot pay. There is no necessity that there be a universe, no inevitability about a world moving toward life and then self-consciousness. There might have been nothing at all. Since we have not earned Bach or crocuses or lovers, the best we can do is express our gratitude for the undeserved gifts and do our share of the work of creation.
Did you ever walk when your feet were tired? Did you ever walk when the road was gone? Did you ever sing when your heart was aching? Did you ever sing just 'cause there's a song? I will walk and I will sing and I will bring a little courage for the morning. Bring a little courage for the day. Did you ever laugh when all hope was lost? Did you ever laugh just to ease the pain? Did you ever weep till the tears were gone? Did you ever weep teardrops like rain? I will laugh and I will weep. I will bring a little courage for the morning. Bring a little courage for the day. Did you ever stand when the rest was silent? Did you ever stand a million strong? Did you ever dream in the darkest hour? Did you ever dream right to change the wrong? I will stand and I will dream and I will bring a little courage for
Well, it's January 3rd. We're just 3 days into the new year. And my question for everybody, now you have to be honest here, how many of you have already broken your New Year's resolutions? Well, I have to say a few years ago, I thought I just gave up the idea of having resolutions, and I pretty much stuck to that. Except sometimes it comes unbidden. There just are natural times in our lives. New Year's is one of them, our birthdays another, other anniversaries, when it just comes upon us to think about how's the last year been, how would I like the next year to go, and certainly this is one of those times. So today I'm going to draw upon the words of a prominent 19th century Unitarian minister to offer some guidance in how we might do that. The Reverend John F.W. Ware wrote a sermon on this subject titled The Gleaning, which he took from the biblical story of Ruth. Ruth had been working in the fields all day, and upon her return, the owner of the fields, Boaz, asked her, "Where hast thou gleaned today?" In this context, gleaning refers to gathering what was left behind by those who harvested the crops. The Torah commanded landowners to allow the poor and the dispossessed to glean their crops. So we know that Ruth was a poor woman, living off leftovers and whatever she was able to scavenge. One doesn't glean from a single spot or acre, but rather surveys all the land to find whatever one can. So when Boaz asked her, "Where hast thou gleaned today?" he was asking more generally how she spent her day, and more particularly, whether she was able to care for herself, whether she was successful in finding enough food to sustain her. Well, it's not a leap then for a minister like John Ware to compare this type of work to spiritual gleaning, what he calls a summing up of the day, a review, if you will, of the feelings and thoughts left over from the day. In his message, he writes about gleaning the field of passions and feelings, asking himself whether he spoke bitterly or judged unkindly. Then he writes, gleaning the field of bad thoughts. He thinks back to those times when his own negative thoughts drew him away from his sense of the holy. In more secular terms, we might reflect today on those occasions when we let ourselves think the worst of others, in contrast to our covenant to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Ware then gleans from the field of foolish prejudices, asking when his own narrow and selfish feelings interfered with his well-being. I, for one, am quick to excuse my shortcomings on either of two grounds. First, that a person I may have judged or diminished in some way deserved it. And second, that even if I did err, I don't need to chastise myself too hard. I'm really a good person in the end. Few mistakes, no big deal. There is, after all, my own inherent worth and dignity, which I never seem to lose sight of. That first excuse is easier to deal with, and Ware approached it directly, quoting him now. Things have not gone with me as I wished them to go. Men have not done as I wished them to do. Others have been wrong and wronged me. But what had that to do with me? I have no right to excuse myself so. End quote. Saying we can't excuse our behavior because of the bad behavior that others might have engaged in. In 12-step terms, we call this putting principle before personalities. When someone whose opinion I neither solicit nor value offers that opinion anyway, I try to ask myself in my better moments, it's not all the time, I guarantee you, but I do try to ask myself in my better moments whether the comment is valid regardless of the source. We do this all the time in reverse. Unitarian Universalists today insist that truth stands or falls on its own proof and isn't made true by the one who says it. The Pythagorean theorem states that a squared plus b squared plus equals c squared. Now, that would be true regardless whether Pythagoras said it or not, or if he had never said it, or if he said it and he was a complete scoundrel anyway. So it is so when others offer their unsolicited advice or criticisms, even when it comes with the speaker's own agenda. At the end of the day, when the passion of the moment has waned and we are gleaning our thoughts, a fair question to ask is, what may I take from my interactions from others that may enhance the quality of my life tomorrow? I bet we've all said something like, well, that person was put on earth to teach me patience. I say that all the time about, well, I better not say who. I won't name names. The larger point is that we may take the wounding we sometimes experience from others and reframe that as opportunities to pull a few weeds from our own garden. The other tendency I mentioned was to dismiss my own shortcomings on the ground, well, that's just who I am. People should just accept me for who I am, the way I am. And in fact, those who accept me that way, I know that those are my true friends. As if all my shortcomings are really just tests for my friends. Well, there are several problems with that analysis. It has a certain cut my nose to spite my face quality to it, because I'm acknowledging that my life could be better if I made some changes, right? Change is a scary thing. We all know the phrase, better the devil you know than the one you don't know. And that, in layman's terms, describes the biggest barrier each of us faces in really examining the spiritual quality of our lives. I used to really beat myself up for all my character shortcomings, and believe me, I think I'm aware of them. Lest I forget, I get reminded of them on a regular basis. It took a lot of hard work to make peace with myself and reach the point where I can affirm my own inherent worth and dignity. So why would I mess that up by thinking about shortcomings, mistakes, and so forth, right? Why would I want to take an inventory of my shortcomings after I've made a certain peace with, like, this is who I am and that's okay? Well, doing so does not mean that on balance I'm a bad person or even an unhappy one. And it is that contradiction with which we really struggle. I have no illusion that I am the best possible husband a man could be or the best minister that I could be. The trap in that acknowledgement, however, is the tendency to fall into either or thinking instead of both and thinking. As if the more anger I acknowledge, the less kindness I possess, the more judgmental I am, the less forgiving I am, or the more selfishness I exhibit, the less forgiving I am. We are all capable of all those attributes all the time. It's not a zero-sum game. Each of the qualities I just listed are part of the human condition. They're part of each of us all the time. What's true about what I just said is that when we choose to judge someone harshly, we lose the opportunity at that moment to forgive. Yet, there are other moments. And even when some consequences of our actions are irredeemable, it is never too late to do the right thing. More importantly, nothing we do that is harmful to another diminishes our capacity later to do what is right, to do what is good. So no matter how selfishly we may act, to pick one example, we never subtract from our capacity to forgive. We have a hard time seeing that we possess our best and worst attributes at the same time. We often affirm our worth and dignity despite our shortcomings instead of in addition to them. Big difference. And that is a barrier to our spiritual growth. The way past this barrier is partly theological and partly psychological. The theological part comes from understanding that the opposite of original sin is not simply original goodness. What distinguished our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors from the theologies of their day regarding sin and grace was the belief that we have the capacity for both good and evil and the ability to choose. But sometimes we make the wrong choice, don't we? The role of faith development and religious community is to help us to resist those tendencies we all have that diminish our lives in some way and to cultivate the spiritual resources that enrich our lives, that enhance our capacity for love and forgiveness and justice, where it teaches us that we do not live in two distinct spheres, good or bad. It is our experience of hate that teaches us the value of love, our experience of judgment that teaches us the value of forgiveness. It is only from the self-examination of our whole lives that we can reach as high as we might in attaining a sense of worth and dignity, one that is not diminished by the acknowledgement of our shortcomings, but rather a sense of self that is enhanced by the acknowledgement of our shortcomings. I give the last words to Reverend Ware. It may require some translation on your part, but I ask when you hear these words to think of whatever inspires awe and wonder in you, to think about the greater cause that gives meaning to your life and to which you commit. It may be a theistic notion of God. It may be the Taoist notion of the way. It may be the laws of the universe, the immutable laws that sort of govern life. But whatever the case, hear this as you need to. Today we have gleaned from a rich field. The Master has caused handfuls to be left for us among the sheaves. We have a harvest of mercy. We have had patience to bear, submission to bow, hope to look forward, faith to sustain. And out from our hearts, sweeter than music out from the harp, has risen the solemn strain, Thy will be done. May it always be so, and blessed be.
We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying till we all can get along, till the world can sing our song. We will
As we conclude the service today, I want first of all to thank your Reverend Paul for the opportunity to be with you today. I certainly hope we can be together sometime in 2021. I also want to thank all the people behind the scenes that helped put this service together. Thank you for your good work. I close this sermon with the usual quote that I bring from Theodore Parker, the great 19th century Unitarian minister. Be ours a religion like sunshine that goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love, its profession of faith divine living. Go in peace, everyone.